All right, I don't know how many times I'm going to do this, and I'm pretty sure this is the last time because I have been sitting in front of this camera for about 45 minutes now, trying to record numerous takes of this video. But essentially, originally I was trying to record it on just my camera. Then I went to TikTok to see if I could just record it and post it there. And as soon as I finished recording and hit the check mark, it disappeared and restarted everything. So I'm pretty sure that was a glitch, but that really is infuriating. So I'm going to just get out and say what I need to say real quick, because at the same time, I do not know how much storage space is left on my phone. It has been crapping out nonstop. You guys, this is more than annoying, but if you're also a content creator, you probably understand. Anyways, what I was going to say is that I am a big, firm believer in the medical use of marijuana and various other substances used only medically in that sense. Now, I'm only going to stick to marijuana because that's the only one that I'm really going to talk about. It's the only one I have any relationship with and that I can even speak about. Other things that are, probably more or less prescribed by a doctor. So, recreationally, though, marijuana is something that can be for either or. I mean, it, just like anything else, is advertised to have slight health benefits. I don't know 100%, but I can tell you for a fact that we still got a longer time to find out how this is going to all play out. We're seeing things and how they affect people in the short term, but long term, it'd be nice to also get an idea of what's to come. Now, as someone with a medical marijuana license myself, I can tell you for a fact that there's a lot of stereotypes out there, and this is something that I just wanted to put out literally to kind of establish myself a little bit more here. And also, I don't post very often. I rarely ever do. It's whether or not I have the inspiration at the moment to do it, and then I just do it. But I don't plan it out for days thinking about what I'm going to post. It's kind of just comes to me. And I feel like that's a better way of doing it. Again, I'm not trying to be a content creator, but it would be nice to see this in the future and go back to it. Hopefully my channel might still be up, so I'd be able to see it even 10 years from now. Well, let's see how long YouTube stays around. I think it'll be around for quite a while, though. Don't hold me accountable to that. But anyways, going back to what I was saying, if you know someone who has a medical marijuana license or is medically prescribed marijuana, it is very common for a lot of people to think that it is an excuse to be high and to be dysfunctional. Where in fact, it's actually quite the opposite. It's quite beneficial not to be dysfunctional, but to be elevated in the sense that all the feelings that sometimes a person might bottle up or have contained inside of them might explode in quite an unusual way. Sometimes people have a weird way of expressing themselves, and they also have a weird way of hiding things. What I mean by this is there's so many disorders that exist, both mentally and physically. And medical marijuana is good for several things all across the board, but it's not something I recommend for everybody. It's something that it's prescribed, and depending on you, you should find out how it works. And if it's not something you want to mess with, then don't. I don't think it's something you should if you're not comfortable with it. There's also other means of naturally remedying problems, but for a lot of people, it's just working a lot harder to get control of them. And I mean, if you're willing to, maybe it'll help long term. I bet you probably also assume that, if you're using a substance to get by in life, that without it, you are unable to function or just be normal or, But no, that's not actually the case. A lot of people who use medical marijuana or even smoke just recreationally don't do it for very long. Statistics show that it drops off at a certain age. Maybe around the time a lot of people are starting families or taking themselves a little bit more seriously, or having to kind of learn to just cope naturally, But for some people, it's so bad that without that little nudge, it just wouldn't be possible to overcome that huge hurdle. And some people, it's anxiety. For others, it can be things like ADHD. I'm diagnosed with it. I really am diagnosed with ADD, but it's not its own diagnosis. It's a undercategory of ADHD, a subcategory, I guess. So it doesn't really matter whatnot. But if you believe in homeopathic remedies, you can consider it one. Honestly, I'd understand if it's questionable, because in the past it was very much a tainted subject, or a tainted substance. You can always find out that your stuff, weed, whatever, might be laced, and you might not know. You might only find out later because maybe someone put DMT, common, sprinkled, any kind of methamphetamines, even fentanyl can be in marijuana too. Cocaine as well, actually. It's not uncommon. Various different things, synthetic syrups or oils to give it a more, hooking effect. But naturally, it's not like that. It's really more or less if you use it medically, it's more or less just to help benefit you as a person and help you overcome challenges bit by bit at your own pace. But, at some point, a lot of people do lean off of it, and they start to kind of just walk on their own, and function perfectly fine. Maybe the anxiety attacks don't happen as frequently, and maybe the weird spells of anger and depression or low attentiveness kind of start to go away, and when you want to focus, it's easier. In my case, it's like 5 thoughts fighting to become number 1. Meanwhile, I'm doing nothing. Or for some people, it's also like doom scrolling. If you're familiar with that term, that's just people on their phone scrolling. I found out that sometimes when I use a substance, I'm on my phone a lot less than I am when I'm not. And it's weird. I don't really know why. I'm always active, and I'm compelled to do as much as I can, but sometimes I just get in a weird rut where I don't want to move. And for hours, I'll stay in the same position, not realizing the time's flying by and the day's slowly shrinking and falling into night. And it just feels like I'm not making the most use of myself. So, that's how it works for me. That's how it makes me feel. It just makes me feel like I have a better grasp of time and everything within more reachable limits. I can clean the house more functionally without really thinking too much about cleaning the house, but just starting in corners and focusing more directly where I am. Even with schoolwork, or what I'm currently doing right now, which is music theory, which is quite complex. And if you know that, then yeah, and believe me, you're not supposed to memorize everything, but you're just supposed to learn certain repetitive motions and comparing and putting music audibly down onto a sheet, sheet music, or vice versa, doing the opposite. And that can be a pain in the butt, and sometimes it can be really hard to focus. Sometimes when you're a little stoned, it becomes a little bit easier. I'm just saying. It's not for everybody, and that's not always the case. Some people need genuine prescription medication. But I'm not a big advocate for pills. And if you can figure out something homeopathically or naturally, even with teas, to calm you down, and to get you in the right mindset, I think that's a better path overall. And if you can just do it by willpower, way better, even better. But I'm just saying, for those who don't want to feel like they're compensating, it's not to cope unless you are using it to cope. It's to help you achieve and to get better. unlike alcohol, that never benefits anybody in any way. Maybe you get liquid courage, but truth to be honest, it doesn't last for very long and can really, really ruin a mood sometimes. So, I mean, I think the worst that you can expect when you smoke or do edibles is to green out. And at that point, then you just don't do it anymore, or you don't do it again. I mean, and some people don't, some people do, and just maybe their limit has to be a little bit less. Again, it's to function, not to withdraw yourself from reality. That's how I want to think of it. But if you are sitting on the couch every day getting baked and just dreaming of a different world, I wouldn't recommend this stuff, you know. But anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm glad that it went to pretty much the full time. I did this take like 4 or 5 times, and I'm also grateful that you guys tuned in. And even if this gets like 10 views, not even, and I can reference back to it, honestly, that's the only reason why I want to keep that, is because I guarantee I won't have this phone for another 10 years, but if YouTube's still around, my video might still be up, and I might have that recording, and I might remember the stuff, and I might have that reference for myself. Not trying to get nostalgic, but I feel like when people have that kind of memory attachment, it helps. As you can tell, I've already smoked. I've done this take about 3 or 4 times, trying to be as steady with it as possible. And I have been doing pretty well. But my camera kept cutting out. TikTok, like I said, shut off on me. Snapchat's just not possible to do long format. So, and I don't like posting on my Instagram. So this will definitely go up on my YouTube, and I hope that with that you will give this a thumbs up if you like the video. If you want to battle me in the comments section, go for it. I'm not too active in my own channel. I mean, I am, but I don't go and check my comments that much. I don't really, I value it, but at the same time, if someone's going to be negative, I don't value responding to that. So anyways, take care, have a great day, make it that way for someone else, and maybe if I get impelled or compelled, I'll make another video.